everyone, and welcome to episode 28 of our free coffee morning where we're answering your parenting questions. Hope you're all keeping well this lovely Wednesday morning. It is lovely outside. There isn't a cloud in the sky that I can see anyway, which is always nice in Drogheda. So wherever you are in the world, I hope it's nice and sunny or rainy if that's what you want. Today we're going to keep it nice and compact, nice and short. Got a big meeting to go to after this, so I hope you've all got your coffee and your buns and you're ready to delve into it. So let's get it done. Okay. My 11-year-old son is really forgetful. He forgets to pack his bag, he forgets to bring things home when he's been away, or doesn't remember simple jobs that he has to do around the house, and he ends up getting into trouble, or we end up really frustrated. Have you any suggestions as to ways we can help him get more focused? Yeah, the old forgetful kids, and it's one of those things that if you sit back and look at the forgetfulness in the big scheme of things, it's not a major issue, but it is frustrating, and it does it can wind you up. So it's one of those little things, and it's funny whenever we talk about any kind of parenting subjects, it's rarely the big things that we worry about, because we just deal with the big things. It's the small little things that all add up to provide us with a nice bit of frustration and kind of just play on the mind, because they don't take up as much of our headspace, but they're always there. They're niggling like a little itch in the back of your head. So things like your kids being forgetful, most of the time you can get around it and deal with it, but there are those times where it is really frustrating that simple things like packing your lunch for school, or you get a phone call from a friend's mum saying your child has no pajamas with them for the sleepover, or no toothbrush, or whatever it might be, and it's those little annoyances that we all have. So it's about trying to support your kids as much as possible without losing your head to kind of say, okay, we need to deal with this. So I suppose the first thing that you could do is start small, because if your son is quite forgetful, there is a good chance that if you try to get him to do everything, try to remember everything all in one go, it's going to be too much for him, and he just won't be able to do it. Now, there'll be a lot of you out there who'll say, well, he should be able to do X, Y, and Z. That's all well and good, he should be, but he's not. So we need to work with our kids where they're at, not where we think they should be at. So if you've got a child who is forgetting things, just pare it back and nearly treat the situation as if you were dealing with someone who's a bit younger. So what I would do is pick 2 or 3 things that he regularly forgets on a weekly basis. Coming into school is probably one of those times that you find that books get left in school, or books get left at home that should be brought into school, that lunch boxes get left behind, drinks bottles get left behind. So do a little checklist for him and get him to check it every evening before he goes to bed. So what are the things that he needs to have ready for the next morning? Or you do it in the morning. Maybe get up kind of 10-15 minutes earlier. Now, some parents will be saying, we're up early enough as it is, but again, this is something that's annoying you enough that you've sent in the question. So maybe taking that extra 5 or 10 minutes to get up a bit earlier, to get him up a little bit earlier, to then start to get things organised so that he can go through his checklist. And you do that for a few weeks until it becomes his natural routine and he doesn't forget about them anymore. Then you move on to the next block of things that you need to do. It's a slow process. You're not just going to be able to wave the magic wand and get him doing everything that you want to do. It's important that we give him that space to let him, I suppose, learn. It's one of those things he just needs to get used to. Now, he might be one of those people, and we all know those people who are a bit flighty and, they're maybe always late, or they never have the right stuff with them. That's okay, but it's as long as it's not impacting on you and him, and that you've given him the best opportunity to learn how to do this and stay on top of things so that he's not putting himself under pressure as he gets older. So I hope that one helps. Okay. We've only got 2 today, as I said. It's a nice and short one. Now, I've got a couple of comments down there. I'm not showing up. There they are. Hi, Beth, and good morning, Jennifer. Good to see you both. I hope you're keeping well. Okay, last one for today. Short and sweet. My wife and I are at loggerheads when it comes to our eldest son. He's going into secondary school and he has always been very artistic. This is great and is something we really encourage, but I feel that when it comes to his subject choices in school, that he should be taking classes that will give him the best chance to get a good job when he leaves. While my wife says we should let him choose what he loves, obviously he agrees with my wife. Any advice on how we can find a common ground? And I think your last sentence there hit the nail on the head. It is about trying to find a common ground that works for everybody. So, you know, the encouraging parent within us all will say, "Oh, let him do what he wants. Let him, pick the subjects that he loves." But our tastes change, and sometimes we need to be exposed to different subjects and different techniques for things that we actually might end up loving even more. So it's actually interesting. My own eldest daughter has started secondary school, and she's getting a taster of so many different subjects, which is great because the school, offer the option to try all these different things, and she has no frame of reference for some of the subjects because she's never done them. So technical graphics, technical drawing, those kind of things, she might look at those on a list and go, "I'm not doing them because they're not what I know." But yet, if she tries them, she might actually love them. So it's great that a lot of the schools will give tasters and testers so that they can start to choose what it is that they feel at that moment is the right thing for them. The other side of it is he may change his mind. He may, in 2 years' time go, "No, I'm not interested in doing art anymore. I want to do something different." And it's about trying to get that balance. So I think with your partner, you should sit down and kind of go, "Look, I completely understand and absolutely I agree he should be doing his art because he loves it." And at the end of the day, we all want our kids to go to school, and yes, we want them to learn, but we want them to have an enjoyable experience where they come away going, "Actually, school was a lot of fun," or, "I got to do the things that I loved and that helped me put up with the subjects that maybe I didn't enjoy as much or maybe hate it," whatever it might be. But sit down and say, "Right, absolutely, let him pick the subjects that he really wants to do, but also look at how can he be exposed to these other subjects that he might actually like that he doesn't even know yet." And plus, we all change. Thankfully, I am not the same person I was 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago because my interests change. I do different things, and that opens up my eyes to doing different things. So for some reason, we still have this in a mindset of, our children should be picking what they love for their future. So they get to pick the job that they want for life. Who who wants to do a job for life? Who wants to just do one thing over and over and over again for potentially, 40, 50 years? We're so much more than that, and we can be so much more than that. So it's important that we encourage our kids to try different things and to, say it's okay to do something now and then change that as they get a bit older because that's life. We have choices. Now, I know the educational structure is around, okay, choose a pathway and go from there, but it's a huge weight on a child's shoulders to try and pick where they think they might want to go. Now, we all know those people who picked a career from when they were knee-high to a grasshopper and they've gone on and they do that career and maybe they love it for the rest of their life. That's fine, but giving your child the option to explore different avenues it's healthy. It's essential for their development because they need to know that you don't just have to do one thing, that you can do anything you want. And it's the one thing I've always said to teenagers is that they're actually in the luckiest position in the world because if they want to become an astronaut, they can do it. If they want to become a professional sports person, they can do it. If they want to go and work in a bank or be a teacher, they can do it. They just need to put the work in. That's the biggest thing. So I'm not going to get a phone call from the Liverpool manager anytime soon, I don't think, to say come and play centre forward and be the new Mo Salah. Probably not going to happen. But for them, it could if they work. And that's the big thing. It's about getting our kids to understand that if we work, we will get what we want. If we don't, then we don't necessarily get what we want, and it's up to them. Now, there's probably tons of you screaming at the computer now going, my child literally would stay in his bed all day, every day. But that's our job as a parent, to try and motivate them as well and get them to see that if this is something you really want to do, you can achieve it as long as you work for it. There's actually a very good technique. Email me about the well-formed outcome if you want. It's a really simple way of getting your child to look at what is it they want, what's within their control, what's outside of their control, and then is it worth the work and dedication that they need to put in. So if you want, email me about that and I'll fire it over to you and you can sit down and go through it with your kids. But I hope that helps. That's us. Probably our shortest one yet, just hitting 11 minutes. I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday, and yeah, I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye bye.